Well, hello. It's October 30, 2015, a day before Halloween. On my mind lately, I thought about the world you live in. Not the world we as human beings live in, but the individual worlds I live in, you live in. Everyone has their own individual world. So growing up, elementary into middle, kind of into high school, I lived in this bubble, and I referenced this movie called Bubble Boy. It's an old 80s movie. It represents, well, the story is the parents of this boy were germaphobes, I believe, and they didn't trust the outside world. So when he went out into the world, he was in this huge plastic bubble. It's about double arm's length in every direction because it was a circle, it's a bubble. And that he felt safe inside that bubble. Hence the name of the movie, Bubble Boy. Now, for me, I use that as a reference to talk about the world as a bubble. We all have this bubble that is our world. We are the master of the world, the master of our own bubble. Growing up, I didn't have the most self-esteem, self-confidence. Social skills, almost zero. There were, of course, a few friends, mostly boys, a few friends that I had that I would talk to, and that's about it. Not too much hanging out outside of school and whatnot. So that did wonders for my self-esteem, right? And I had all the self-esteem and confidence in my world, my one-person world. I knew everything. Everything went my way. That's why I created that world for myself. It hasn't been until high school when I was forced to expand my world to a bigger bubble and or move my world into another world and be forced to exist there. More social situations, uh, a lot of downs in the social world, meaning I was picked on. I was the unpopular kid, not even considered a nerd, just off to the side. I began to feel new emotions. What man boy hasn't? And I didn't know how to do it. There was no one to guide me through it. No one was around to truly guide me through it. So let's fast forward to now. So why am I talking about this? Inside our bubble, as I mentioned earlier, we are all masters of it. We are masters of our world, and if we step outside of our world into the bigger world, or let's call it the real world, because your bubble isn't exactly the real world, it's just the world you created for yourself. So once we step onto the real world and something stings us, something happens that, it stings, boom, it stings. What do? Our natural human reaction is to jump back into our world where it's safe, where we are the master of it. We know everything in that world. But that also makes it to where we don't grow. There's nothing new to learn, and we don't grow. So I've been slowly trying to trying to put myself into the real world. If I get stung, I don't want to retreat back into my small bubble and or go further deeper into my bubble to where the boundary of my bubble is even further away from me to step out again. I've had some relative success. I can only judge it for myself. I don't have anyone to compare notes with, I guess I want to say. And I just, it's important. It's important to me that I continue to put myself outside of that bubble to become a true master. So let's take martial arts. You know, I'm wearing my uniform. All right, fine. It's an easy thing to relate to. So let's take martial arts, and in my world, in the class that I teach, in my world, I am top dog. I am the master. I know everything. I have all the self-confidence I'll ever need. All the self-esteem, all the self-confidence I'll ever need. But when I step out of that world into another world, yes, childhood habits gives me, a lower self-confidence, a lower self-esteem. But once I remember what I'm trying to do, I have relative success being more social outside of my own world, outside of my own bubble. And when I come back to my world, I'm more than happy to leave that world again to go back out and travel, outside of my world, to where I'm not the master. I'm not the best. I'm not the all-knowing person in that world. And that's all to grow my world even bigger, to access more parts of the real world, and to learn, to bring it back to my other world. Now, I'm not telling you, I didn't want to say to completely destroy the world you built for yourself. You have to have a place that's a home base. At least for me, that's how I think. I have to have a home base to where I can take the things I learned from the outside world and test them out. So let's do martial arts again. I go outside of my world, I learn something new, and I bring it back to my world, to my classes, and I test them out. I can test them out with relative ease. And if I like it, I incorporate it into myself. Whether it's a new tactic or a new technique, if I like it, I incorporate it into myself into a more permanent fashion. And then what do I do? I go back out. I go back out of my world to learn something new. Come back, test it, see if I like it, and then incorporate it. If I don't like it, toss it. And it's been helping me grow more. I've said in previous vlogs that I am a late bloomer. That is still true until this day, and maybe even to the day I die. I bloom late. Everything is delayed. It's late. I experience my life at later dates than most people do. Maybe by the time I'm 50, I'm going to have my first child. Who knows? Who knows how that's going to work? So I keep my world, where I'm the master of it, I keep that around as a home base. But I make a point to travel outside of my world into other worlds, other realities, so that I can learn from those realities and bring back to my world, my reality, to test and see if I like it. And that's a new habit I've been developing for myself. And I like what's happening. I am more social. I'll travel to a social situation that would once have frightened me. I confront that fear and I allow myself to empty my mind and be in the moment. Empty my mind and be in the moment. And I found that I can contribute to a new social situation. I can be funny. I can be joyous. I can give and contribute good feeling emotions to that social group. It's like I used to think that people were cut from a different cloth. No, we're all cut from the same cloth. But we were just sewn and made into something different. But it's never too late to change what we were sewn and made into. We are in charge of that. Us as an individual, you as an individual, me as an individual, we are in charge of our own sewing. We're not cut from a different cloth, but we were made into something different. And now as adults, you have to sew yourself into what you want. I'm 34. I hope in 6 more years, before I turn 40, that I have grown much more in every aspect of my life. Taekwondo, social life, whatever I endeavor to improve in. Okay? Thank you for watching. See you next time.